Hi guys, this is Nicole Taylor, Public Administration 619 Diversity and Inclusion um, elective. I'm going to go ahead and talk about a diversity management plan for my organization. I work for the San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools in San Bernardino, California. We are a principal's office for the 33 school districts in San Bernardino. The best way to describe the County Office of Education is that we provide services to all the school districts. For example, if your student was to be expelled from the regular school district, they would go to a county office of education school. We also provide budget analysis, fiscal analysis, and budget approval for all their school districts. I'm going to be going over a diversity management plan for the district. We currently do not have one in place. Um, I feel as though just because people, the districts or human resources think that they follow EEO laws, federal and then state agency laws as far as hiring practices go, they feel that they may be uh, uh, coordinating or complying rather with diversity management laws rather than incorporating one into their own organization within themselves. Um, Diversity management is about opening up the lines of communication, understanding others as far as where they come from, who they are, how they grew up. One of the things that I recommend to people is to be very open-minded about diversity. Don't limit yourself to learning anything. Be open to learning and understanding others. It doesn't mean that you have to change yourself. Um, One thing to know about public agencies have a lot of issues when it comes to strategic initiatives because the simple fact is that leadership can change. Um, Leadership commitment is important in any aspect of an initiative that an organization wants to incorporate change or change policies that they have. Um, so the way to get around that is to ensure that the organization implements a policy, an organizational policy. That way, if leadership changes, the organization will continue with the plan or initiative or whatever it is that they want to do. Um, Attitude reflects leadership. I always say that the way the culture of the organization will go is if leadership first instills that into the organization of diversity and inclusiveness, and then other people will definitely follow suit. I did an analysis of the current diversity management program within the SBCSS, and there isn't one. That is the analysis. There is no diversity management program, although Human Resources has stated that they do believe and have always wanted to have a diversity management program, specifically dedicating a position to diversity and inclusion, but they haven't had the funds or the resources to do so. That's another hurdle that public organizations have to get over when it comes to doing something that they want to do. Funds are limited. Um, Average daily attendance is dispersed based upon the attendance of the students in the district. So that is one thing that is a hurdle. Trying to find financial resources, budget constraints, when you want to do training, professional development within an organization, time commitment, things of that nature. So those are all things that you have to put into perspective when you're trying to change something within an organization, especially the culture of the organization. Um, they do uh, respect and incorporate all Title V laws, um, which include the Americans Disability Act, Equal Opportunity Employer, non-discrimination policies, um, and as far as human resources goes, they do follow all those different laws. Um, as far as the diversity management program, I'll go right into it. Um, Basically, there's 5 goals and objectives, and each department or each division would designate a leader. Most of the time, for school district, it'll be in a superintendent or an assistant superintendent, the head of each division. This does not mean that other mid-level management or staff is not going to be involved in the program. It just means that certain leaders are accountable for certain parts of the initiative. Number one, the superintendent needs to have an initiative of implementing a board policy, getting it approved by the board, that they are involved in a diversity management program, it's launching, it's off the ground, that he's responsible for getting the word out, whether it's e-flyers, management needs to get the word out that this initiative is going to be taking place so everybody can prepare themselves for changes. A public agency sometimes would benefit from hiring an outside consultant agency. I would recommend that. That way, a consultant can give you advice, tell you what to do, what not to do, especially when it comes to public funds. You don't want to waste your money doing things that you really don't need to do. And so public agencies can learn a lot from private sectors and see what they've done and learn as well. Just taking all the initiatives and agencies and avenues to learn what others have done and what has worked and what not has worked. That is definitely being fiscally responsible as well within an organization. There's 5 different goals and objectives and initiatives that I came up with, and each division, which would be superintendent's office, HR, which plays a huge part of diversity and inclusion, the business office, internal business, student services, and information and technology. So after the superintendent has implemented a board policy of diversity and inclusion, they're going to be working with the unions, changing the MOUs, coming up with any type of policy that they need to ensure that the program goes off smooth. HR is going to step in and hire a diversity and inclusion specialist, find the money in the budget, or apply for a grant, that will fund a position, a person that is dedicated and designated to the program and can, keep up with it on actually a daily basis. Is very important. Um, Human resources is to have the involvement in local job fairs, national job fairs, focusing on hiring minorities and people who have disabilities, exploring the LGBTQ community. Sometimes I get it messed up. It's okay though. You know what I mean. And opening up the organization to hire people who are just basically different from the norm. I won't even say the norm. I'll just say others, people that you're not used to being around. Um, so that would be great. HR also needs to be inclusive in conferences, professional development, training within the department of all the external references that are offered as far as diversity and inclusion is concerned. The next thing would be the business office needs to sit down with each division and have each division dedicate 5% of their budget to diversity and inclusion. That includes sending managers and staff to trainings at least twice a year, and not just e-trainings. They need to go to real conference trainings and do activities and learn about other cultures, races, and things of that nature. So that would be something that the business office would be in charge of. The student services would be involved in partnering with outside agencies in the community, such as students, teachers, senior administrative staff in the Sacramento, California, which is a lot of school district staff travel to Sacramento to advocate and lobby for student laws and things of that nature. The next thing would be information and technology division. The assistant superintendent there would create a data tracking system to ensure that everybody is taking their professional development trainings and get the word out of any events, conferences, or just anything that is going on that includes diversity, ensuring that the organization, knows about it, that the staff knows about it, that management knows about it. Hey, this conference is going on, register now, and creating a registration system to keep track of the attendance. Um, the superintendent implementing the board policy, that's going to happen within the first 3 months of, the diversity management plan. It shouldn't take no more than that. But the rest of the goals and objectives that are headed by the other assistant superintendents, those things should be happening on an ongoing basis. Diversity management is not something that's going to happen overnight, and it's going to be on a continuous basis within the organization. And it should be something that the committee members initially should be meeting monthly to go over what they've done, the tasks that have been completed, how well things are going, or pitfalls and, identifying errors and things of that nature that needs to be fixed. Um, Communication is very important, I feel, when you're talking about diversity. I think people are scared of coming out of their comfort zone. Um, when I talk about diversity, sometimes I feel like people think that it means exclusion of Caucasian people, like, they're out and we're in. No, it's not. It's everybody's in. And equality does not equal to oppression. Um, there are reports of businesses have benefiting from, including diversity. Even though public agencies do not generate revenue, we are in the business of people by providing programs. And I have an appendix in my paper that shows that 87% of the students in the school district are Hispanic. So when parents are coming in talking to school districts, they want to see someone that looks like them, and not only like them, but to make them feel comfortable, and vice versa. And everyone should have someone that they can go to, that they feel comfortable going to. Not just that, but opening yourself to other races, culture. It can only broaden our horizon. Going into as a school district in the 21st century. Um, there are reports that by the year 2025, the United States is going to be as diverse as it's ever been. And we want to be able, as providing quality education, to keep up with that. So that is my management plan. And one thing that I want to recommend to, executives, superintendents, anybody really who is, going to open up their mind to diversity is traveling. We've recently, been to Mexico, and it has just opened up my mind. I've met so many people from Australia and China and just Africa, just everywhere, and just getting to know people and being able to open up yourself up to that will really help, not only in your personal life, but more importantly, professionally, and in your professional life. And so it would really help our students, who can go abroad. Cal State San Bernardino is a great example of that, being very diverse. So I really hope that the school district takes the opportunity to include or implement a diversity and inclusion management plan over the next 3 years. And good luck.